Okay, in the kick drum, we also have a tiny little capsule, 5mm capsule, a Devote core, 4099 core microphone. It's the same mic that we're using on the racks, on the hi-hat, on top snare, bottom snare, pretty much on all the drums except for the overheads and the inside kick. We'll come back to that. But in the hole, we have also that microphone. I have placed it with a little angle on it. Like it's not pointing straight into the hole because it has an interference tube. And if the air flow from that hole, from the beater through the hole, is filling up that interference tube with air pressure, the capsule, the diaphragm is saturated. It's not that it will ever break the microphone because you cannot break the microphone with sound pressure. Not these microphones anyway. It's really hard to make them distort because they handle 154 dB.
That's just stunning to me.
That's
you don't look at these things and think this can handle, you know, machine gun fire.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You don't
it's
think of that.
That's amazing to me. They just feel you know, because they're so delicate on those little shock mounts, which is great. Because you know, clipping them on drums like that, it's always like a big no-no because of the resonance from the vibrating drum itself. But these, there's none of that. So they become so easy to place in all these locations that you would have never thought to do it before because it would be impossible to get a microphone there. So.
And imagine that we had to go with 5, 6 microphone stands in that little room there.
He'd be stuck.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to breathe almost. But anyway, we have that tiny little capsule, and we fight a lot the assumption that you can't get low end out of a 5mm capsule. We have a lot of students heard from I don't know who that you need a big microphone to get low end. You need a microphone like this, and then you have low end. I don't know where they came from. Maybe because they think that it's the opposite of a speaker.
They think that size matters.
Yeah. I'm happy that it doesn't. I'm happy that these microphones, they can pick up low end. If you imagine the size of your eardrum, it's about 2-3 millimeters. It can pick up low end, right? So the same thing goes with a small diaphragm. It has nothing to do with size. The size does matter though, because the small diaphragm, they have a really, really fast transient response. If they're made right, they react really fast in transients, and that's what we're benefiting from on the snare drum. The really fast transients, the microphone picks up the transient, the fast burst of energy, and then it's back in place, it's ready to receive the next transient, the next little ghost note or whatever. If you're working with dynamic microphones, on the other hand, you have very slow moving thing. It's a diaphragm with a coil, moving coil, and a magnet. It's a really big, heavy system, and that really doesn't wake up until this third, the fifth, or whatever snare drum hit, or ghost note, or whatever. So fast-moving transients are our friends here, even on a kick drum with a lot of low end. So let's hear the solo the outer drum mic, the 4099 in the hole. Plenty of low end.
Plenty of low end. This was always that what I like to call rubbery low end. It's the resonance of the drum. It's the length of the kick drum. I think people get overly obsessed with the transient of I mean, we need the transient of a kick drum, but I think for me at least, I always obsess over the length of the note. It has a boom. You know, Bonham is your guy, right? But having control and getting a great resonant note out of a kick drum is important, and it's very difficult to do with a mic just on the inside of the drum, I think.
We can. We also have the. Also have the inside.
Of course, got to have both.
I don't know what that sounds like acoustically because I'm not going to put my ear down there. I like to move the microphone a bit further out, again because I don't want to put my ear down there and experiment with that, the sound. But I like to move it. I moved it 4 centimeters out. And then I want to listen to it again and maybe compare the difference. And actually, you would have to be the judge of that. Did we have more low end or less low end?
Sorry, I'm just having a little. It's hard to see my screens with the sunlight coming in here because I'm trying to press buttons. To me, it was almost less.
Good. Good. Then we know that the position before was better. If I didn't take the time to move the microphone, I wouldn't know if I could have something even closer to what I was going for. So now I know. So I'll put it back there. Actually, I'll do a third position. I'll put it inside the kick. So now the capsule is flush with the hole, with the skin. And the interference tube is inside and still angling, so we're not getting that air pressure. So that's the third position, and you would be the judge. Was the first position better than the second, the third?
I like that one better.
Good.
But I'd have to go back to the first to get an accurate judgment of which one's the actual best. That one definitely sounds better than the previous one.
So that was position number 3. Now we have position number 1 again. Hit it.
I have to say I like that position the best.
We'll leave it there. But we wouldn't know unless we tried the other two, right?
If I had to only use one microphone, position number 2, the one previous, I would use that. But since I know we're using 2 microphones, I like the woof out of this position because I know I'm going to add it to the other mic that's inside, that's got all the attack and everything. So I'm thinking in parts.
Good.
But if it was a jazz gig, let's say, and we got one mic, we're trying to go very natural, I would have chose the position before because it was sort of a nice balance of things.
Position number 3, actually.
Yeah. Position number 3, yes.
Yeah. So we're back to position number 2 now.
Because it's rock and roll.
Rock and roll, and we will hear the microphone inside, as you just announced. That's a 2011. That's a twin diaphragm capsule. I don't want to go into what that is right now, but it's a super cool mic. It's inside, and we mounted in some of this foam here, so it's suspended inside, and there's nothing in the drum other than the microphone. It sounds like this.
I mean, that's good. It's a good, clear picture. I'm getting all the beater hit on the head and everything. Sounds great.
Everything is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are happy.
Yes.